The winter of 1955–56. Think back to the winter of 1955. A season when frost was so fierce it split window panes, snow piled high enough to swallow garden gates, and temperatures plunged so low they rewrote Britain's weather records. One dark January afternoon, London was suddenly thrown into near blackness. Thousands rang emergency services, genuinely believing the world was coming to an end. This was no ordinary cold spell. Britain was caught in the grip of two brutal waves of winter that tested every household, every community, and every ounce of resilience the country had left. From early January through to mid-March, daily life became a battle, not against a visible enemy, but against ice, snow, and a cold that seeped into bones and refused to leave. The winter of 1955–56 was not the longest freeze Britain had ever endured, but it was one of the harshest. And for those who lived through it, those frozen months were never forgotten. It began in the first week of January 1955. A cold front swept south, burying London under 15 centimeters of snow, the heaviest fall the capital had seen since 1947. Many assumed it would pass in a few days. It didn't. The freeze tightened its grip until late January, eased briefly, then returned with even greater force in February. On February 23, history was made in Braemar, deep in the Scottish Highlands. The temperature fell to -25 degrees Celsius, the coldest recorded anywhere in Britain since 1895. 60 winters had come and gone without anything colder. Across northern Scotland, snow lay 2 feet deep. Near Elgin, it reached 3 feet. In the far north and the islands, drifting snow piled up to 30 feet high, entombing entire villages behind walls of white. The RAF launched Operation Snowdrop, dropping food and supplies to communities completely cut off. Families who had never known true isolation before now stared out at a world they simply couldn't reach. The south fared little better. Even places like Buxton recorded 2 feet of level snow. Roads vanished. Railways froze. Britain, still recovering from the scars of war, now found itself locked in a struggle against nature. And February wasn't finished yet. On the very day Braemar set its record, Cornwall, a county that rarely saw frost, endured 16 hours of continuous snowfall. Coastal towns suddenly resembled the Scottish Highlands. Winter, it seemed, had decided nowhere in Britain would be spared. Life at home became a daily test of endurance. Most houses had no central heating. Survival depended on a single coal fire, usually in the living room. Families crowded into one space while the rest of the house turned into an icebox. Breath fogged the air indoors. Thick frost crept across bedroom windows, sometimes so dense you could barely see daylight. Coal was life itself. Without it, you froze. Yet deliveries became impossible. Lorries were stranded, coal sat frozen at depots, and families burned whatever they could find: old newspapers, broken furniture, anything that would catch. The smell of coal smoke hung heavy in every street. Milk bottles were thawed in pans of hot water. Children scraped ice from bedroom windows just to see outside. Fathers wrapped in every layer they owned trudged out daily to cleared paths that filled again by nightfall. There were no shortcuts. You simply endured. The cold was relentless. January's freeze loosened briefly, only for February to return with vengeance. Farmers watched helplessly as frozen ground made harvesting impossible. Root crops remained locked in soil hard as stone. In some places, machinery was used just to dig up potatoes. Thousands of tons of food were lost, rotting where they lay. For the elderly and vulnerable, the danger was real. Hypothermia became a constant threat. Doctors waded through waist-deep snow, medical bags half frozen, trying to reach patients who couldn't reach them. Hospitals filled with cases of cold-related illness. Pneumonia spread through communities already weakened by years of post-war hardship. Yet Britain carried on. Complaining achieved nothing. Waiting wasn't an option. You just got on with it. Then, on January 16th, London experienced something truly extraordinary. Just after midday, daylight vanished. Pollution from countless coal fires mixed with cold air, forming a thick blanket of smog nearly 4,000 feet deep. Light levels dropped to almost nothing. People phoned emergency services in fear, convinced the world was ending. Hours passed before the darkness finally lifted, a chilling reminder of how severe the winter had become. Travel was nearly impossible. Cars disappeared beneath snow. Buses gave up. Walking miles through cutting winds became routine, just to reach shops that might not even be open. Still, postmen made their rounds, pushing through knee-deep snow because the mail had to get through. Tradition, pride, and stubborn determination all rolled into one. But here's what history often forgets. This winter wasn't only about survival, it was about community. When the cold became unbearable, neighbors who barely knew each other knocked on doors. Coal was shared, blankets passed around, food divided, strangers pushed cars free, families opened homes to those without heat. Church halls and community centers filled, not just with people seeking warmth, but with people seeking company. British Reserve melted away. When everyone was struggling, pride became a luxury no one could afford. There was even laughter, dark humor, uniquely British. Jokes about penguins in Piccadilly, snowmen needing ration cards. And through it all, the BBC reported calmly, with quiet understatement, heavy snowfall has affected most areas. Travelers are advised to take care. Children, of course, loved it. School closures turned the frozen world into a playground. Sledges fashioned from tea trays flew down every hill. Snowball fights lasted all day. Children returned home soaked, frozen, and smiling. Gloves stiffened by the fire. Socks steamed, and by morning, they were back outside, building snowmen taller than adults. Ask anyone who was a child that winter, and they'll tell you, it was magical. The cold finally began to ease in mid-March 1955. Roads reappeared. Water dripped from rooftops. Delivery lorries arrived like heroes. Britain, exhausted and soot-stained, slowly began to breathe again. When milk arrived unfrozen for the first time in weeks, people actually cheered. Life crept back toward normal. But the scars remained. Farms lost livestock and crops. Businesses closed for weeks. Health suffered. Spirits were tested. Yet there was also pride, the sense that Britain had been tested and had not broken. The winter of 1955-56 taught a lesson far greater than weather. When everything froze, when supplies ran out, when it felt like the cold would never end, people didn't give up. They looked after one another. They kept fires burning. They endured together. No smartphones, no delivery apps, no central heating safety net. Just neighbors, community, and an unshakable refusal to be beaten. The frost of 1956 is remembered not only for its records, but for what it revealed, that beneath the ice, Britain still had something unbreakable at its core.